Welcome back to the Kaspa Silver YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be covering smart contracts and how the future is looking. We're going to be updating you guys exactly what's going on with smart contracts and ultimately showcasing the decisions that we got to be making in the near future. So if you guys are new around here, please consider leaving a like on the video after watching it and also subscribing to the channel. We currently crossed over 900 subscribers and I'm beyond thankful for that. I never thought we would grow this fast, but you guys have been killing it on the videos. So thank you guys so much for that. And if you guys are new around here, consider subscribing and joining the channel. All right, so let's get straight into it. There's a lot to cover. So a few days ago, Bubblegum Lightning, other known as Nathaniel, came out and released a article kind of describing what's going to be happening with smart contracts in the near future. And basically, two options came up in this article. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at it. So this is the article. You can find it on medium.com. I'll put the links in the description after this video to so that you guys can kind of find everything that I have highlighted here in this video. So to begin, all right, so disclaimer, Kaspa could adopt both of the options listed below and take a dual strategy approach. Now let's get into these options. Kaspa is evaluating the adoption of smart contracts with the technology known as rollups, designed to improve the speed and efficiency of blockchain transactions. This involves two potential paths, each with its own implication and challenges. So this is on the Discord. This is from Hashtag, which is the actual founder of Kaspa, Jonathan. So this is him on Discord. And he says, we should use rollups tech. Two possible integration concepts: Kaspa native smart contracts, sequencing and settlement done on Cas. Requires forking and adapting a code base in Rust of one of the leading rollups projects. Pros and cons: native Cas implementation, that's a pro. Cons: major consensus change plus heavier lifting on adoption. Candidate MatterLab's ZK Sync. 2. This is the second option. Kaspa as a sequencing layer. Settlement done on ETH. Requires a modular rollup codebase that supports switching the sequencing layer from ETH to another. Pros: only minor Cas consensus updates supporting blob carrying transactions. Smoother adoption process. Cons: life as an ETH sidechain. Main economic activity remains on ETH. Candidate Starkware's sharp shared power. I believe this was proposed by this person in the past. All right, so Nathaniel over here is going to break it down a little bit more. So option 1, fully integrate rollups technology into Kaspa's existing infrastructure. This approach involves harnessing and creating Kaspa native smart contracts, essentially automated scripts that execute specific actions when certain conditions are met. These smart contracts would function at higher speeds by incorporating rollups, and their execution would be finalized on Kaspa's platform. However, this route is not without its challenges. In essence, it would require forking and adapting an existing rollups codebase. This would be akin to converting a complex software from one programming language to another. So basically, option 1 is going this native path for Kaspa, developing smart contracts from the ground up and not using any assistance from Ethereum. So basically, what's going on in option 2 is the other approach is a more hybrid solution. Here, Kaspa would serve as a sequencing layer, which essentially means it would organize transactions. However, the settlement or the finalization of those transactions would still occur on Ethereum. For this method to work, Kaspa would need to find a modular rollups codebase that can support switching the sequencing layer from Ethereum to Kaspa. And basically, if you guys want to read more into this, you guys can go to the article. I don't want to stay too hard on this article alone because we got a lot of other things to cover. But let's end it with this right here. Regardless of the chosen path, each potential integration concept highlights a different facet of Kaspa's adaptability and readiness for innovation. By incorporating rollups into its system or connecting its operations with the Ethereum network, Kaspa is committing to embracing cutting-edge blockchain technology. Whether though complete integration or a hybrid approach, the move towards rollups underlies Kaspa's drive to stay at the forefront of blockchain innovation, ready to adapt and evolve with the technology ever-changing landscape. And ultimately, we're not even a blockchain, we are a block DAG. So after reading this, I got my first impressions and my opinions on this was instantly I'm against ETH. If you watch this channel, I'm already against Ethereum because of their just unpure practices of how Ethereum was originally created and the fact that Ethereum has transitioned from proof of work to proof of stake, which is essentially a problem. And basically, becoming a sidechain on Ethereum, I think, hurts the core narrative of Kaspa of being this proof of work, similar to Bitcoin kind of coin that is separate from things like proof of stake coins, something like Ethereum. Now, the problem with this is ultimately, I'm not going to sit here and act like I understand completely how this side chain option would work with Ethereum. After doing some research, though, there's just been a lot of information that has been coming out about this smart contract possibility being on a sidechain as ETH, and a lot of people are against it because of these core narratives that is with Kaspa. So first off, I say smart contracts on Kaspa is possible, but was never promised to be done right away. This could take a while, and personally, I would like to see Kaspa build it from the ground up without doing the sidechain implementation with ETH. I think it would benefit long term. I know this would take much longer to implement, but ultimately the vision of Kaspa was to compete with Litecoin at the start. I think developing Rust and later Dagnite should be priority. Smart contracts can come later. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Dogecoin never needed smart contracts to be successful. I personally do not care for smart contracts, to be honest. I care about the tech of Kaspa and the innovation it brings to the table. We should keep building from the ground up. Kaspa's made to be here for decades to come. Let me hear your thoughts on this. So basically, a lot of people were actually against the Ethereum sidechain option. And taking a look at what exactly the details of a sidechain from my research, which basically could only be Googling it and Chat GPT, essentially becoming a sidechain on Ethereum would involve Kaspa becoming a token on the Ethereum blockchain. So basically, we would become like a Polygon Matic, similar to that when it first launched. When Polygon first launched, it did not have its own smart contract implementation, so it was using Ethereum's smart contract implementation, but Polygon speed, so that basically you can run NFTs or whatever on the Polygon network using Ethereum smart contracts, but Polygon's speed and fees, which a lot of times was, Ethereum's smart contract is horrible because of the speed of it is slow, and also the fees are ridiculous on Ethereum. So basically all these other layer 2s or whatever are using Ethereum smart contracts, but then you're using the new crypto to utilize the speed, the security, or you're using Ethereum security, but you're also it's cheaper, much cheaper. So basically, from my research and what I've found, this is what it could mean. We do not have a direct answer of what this could actually look like as a sidechain, but from the research, it looks like that's how it's going to be. Kaspa becoming a token on the Ethereum network. Now, this does not change Kaspa, the core Kaspa coin. It's not changing to proof of stake. It's staying proof of work. It's keeping all of its core values and everything. The only difference is just making another coin that's able to communicate with Kaspa's proof of work and then Kaspa's token that's on Ethereum. So basically, they can communicate to each other, and then people can actually run dApps and smart contracts on Kaspa using Kaspa's network, but there's still the Ethereum, the settlement is all happening on Ethereum. So basically, why would we do this? Well, because if we do this, this would then encourage Ethereum developers to come over to Kaspa and try to develop the native smart contracts system on Kaspa itself. So this is not an option to do forever. Being a sidechain on Ethereum is not an option that is trying to be done and just we're going to stay as a sidechain on Ethereum and use their smart contract implementation. No, this is so that we can speed up adoption and allow Ethereum developers to see Kaspa, realize the tech is super good, it's super fast, it's super cheap, and then it would encourage them to, hey, let's go over to Kaspa and possibly develop their own smart contract system. So they don't even have to use Ethereum as a side chain anymore. So that's basically how I interpret all this. Let's get into a couple more things. So Shy, which is one of the core devs over here, says, judging by the visceral responses made by some community members, I have to conclude that we've done a poor job explaining the meaning of implementation Ethereum sequencing on Kaspa, and in particular why it isn't nearly as dramatic as one might think, reading statements such as main economic activity remains on Ethereum chain without understanding the full context. So let me ease your mind. Implementing such a feature certainly does not mean that Kaspa would become forever subordinate to Ethereum in any way. It just means that Ethereum devs could use the Cas network for sequencing if they wanted to. That's all. A hashtag statement that main economic activity remains on ETH chain does not refer to the entire Kaspa economy, but only to applications developed using this feature. It is rather obvious statement. Contracts that settle on Ethereum network are a part of the Ethereum economy, even if they sequence elsewhere. Instead of getting the full benefit of having our chain used for settling contracts, we only get the partial benefit of other chain using it as an infrastructure, thus increasing adoption and usage. That's really all there is to it. The rest of the activity on CAS, including any other form of smart contract implementation, would still be completely independent of Ethereum. Now, many people, again, people don't like Ethereum, especially if you're a Bitcoin maxi and love the Bitcoin, you loved how it's run. You find Kaspa, you decide to actually transition over to Kaspa as well. You're not going to like Ethereum because you did your research, you understand the proof of stake is not really the best way to run a cryptocurrency because that creates a rich get richer system. It's really not that fair. It becomes more centralized. So people just have this resentment against Ethereum. So becoming a sidechain on Ethereum is like the last thing we should do as Kaspa, because I feel like the core narrative of Kaspa is basically being separate from those kind of entities. But to me, I'm just like, I see both sides of the story here. Imagine becoming a sidechain on Ethereum, which would speed up adoption and speed up the chances of us creating smart contracts on Kaspa way faster. Now, personally, I don't think we need smart contracts on Kaspa. I already said in those previous tweets that all these other cryptocurrencies without smart contracts became successful. In the vision of Kaspa, we're going to be competing with the Litecoin. That was like the first vision for Kaspa, is a digital silver competing with Litecoin. We think we're going to fulfill what Litecoin was trying to be advertised as a digital silver. Tomorrow's video, we're going to be actually doing a full-on comparison between Kaspa and Litecoin and taking a look at both of those and showing the differences and why Kaspa is the better option between Kaspa and Litecoin. But again, so there's just a lot of opinions on this, and for sure, let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this as we continue diving deep into this. So after he tweeted that out, I said on Twitter, this really breaks it down deeper to understand what's going on here. I trust the devs and know they are looking for the most practical way to implement smart contracts and get the adoption we need at the same time. Using ETH bothers a few because of the narrative CAS has, but this would attract others to research CAS and leave Ethereum to work on a better solution for Ethereum's problems. ETH sidechain would not be forever, but to speed us up to have our own native smart contracts. The devs know what they're doing, and as much as we may have an idea of certain things or opinions, at the end of the day, we ain't going to do any of the work on the tech side, so we should be thankful for these devs and trust their knowledge. Now, this is on the Discord, and this is hashtag, and this is Jonathan's, the founder of Kaspa's, opinion on this. Since these paths are not conflicting, I'll go first with option number 2. If not merely for the fact we don't have the manpower to go with native smart contracts as of yet. Now, personally, I think since we do not have the manpower, I think we should vote on possibly creating funding for smart contract implementation to invite developers to come on Kaspa so that they can actually get paid for their work on the Kaspa network. Because I think if there's enough people that really believe in native smart contracts, I personally believe in just doing it completely from the ground up, native. I don't care how long it takes because I ultimately don't care about smart contracts. I just know it's something that's part of the blockchain and the crypto world. So we're going to need it so that we can compete with everybody. But I can wait. I'm here for the long term and I don't really care. But I would donate some Kaspa just so that we can make sure we get some kind of funding going so that we could do this natively completely and not use Ethereum as a side chain and all that kind of stuff. But again, I see both viewpoints from the devs. And so ultimately, it's going to be a decision that it's going to be having to be made. And right now it's just brainstorming. Again, like I said in a previous tweet, this was not promised to come right away. Smart contracts is not something that is absolutely needed for Kaspa. I don't believe that. A lot of people do believe that smart contracts are needed for Kaspa unless Kaspa is going to die without it. And ultimately, to me, I see it as, well, a lot of people think that drooling monkeys and NFTs is going to save Kaspa. And that's not the original vision and goal of Kaspa. Kaspa was trying to be a better proof of work than any proof of work out there. And in my opinion, it already is. And so it's just needing more adoption, more exchanges, and all that kind of stuff. But smart contracts is going to be a topic that's just going to continue being brainstormed and getting ideas and whatnot. And um, a lot of the conversation happens in the smart contract brainstorming where you can go. So someone said Caspa don't have to be a sidechain for ETH. It should continue as unique. And I gave an objectable view that's more in support of the Ethereum side. It says it doesn't have to be, but it's not the most practical to get our native smart contract going. I see the devs' viewpoints on why ETH would be better. Ultimately, we don't have enough devs to work on our own smart contracts. We use ETH. Yes, it sucks. It may hurt the narrative Kaspa has, but it doesn't change what Kaspa is at all. In fact, this would bring exposure to Kaspa, which could then let people realize and devs that Kaspa is the better tech to work on because it will solve all of ETH's problems. If ETH gets in trouble with SEC, which is unlikely, what's gonna be the second best place to come to and work on that SEC resistant is gonna be Kaspa. This is how I'm looking at this now. So ultimately, there's just a lot of mixed opinions on this, and it's going to be settled in the future. All right, so that's pretty much all I have for you today. This is based on all the research and that I've done, and I want to hear you guys' opinions down below on how we should go about doing this. This is still very early stages. We still don't have clear definitions and details of how a sidechain on Ethereum would exactly look like, but anyways, if you guys are interested in supporting the channel, please take a look at the Patreon. I currently have 3 different tiers going on. Each one gets you access to the private Discord no matter which tier you join. They all have a free trial going on, but different tiers like the silver tier gets you access to giveaways, and the gold tier gets you access to all my YouTube videos before they go live to everybody else. So if you guys are interested in any of those, go ahead and take a look at that. The link is down in the description down below. You guys could check that out. You can even just start the free trial so you guys can join the Discord and hang out for a week, and then you can cancel your trial. It doesn't matter to me. It's only up to you guys if you want to support. Subscribing is always free, and leaving a like on the video is always free. Hope you guys have a very nice day. I want to shout out to all my fellow Americans in the celebration of Memorial Day. Today is a special day where we remember all those who gave their lives for our freedoms in this country. And that's really huge because without their sacrifice, I wouldn't be here today doing and speaking my own opinions and my own thoughts on social media without their sacrifice across the world for us. So please remember that. Have fun with your families. And as always, don't be average, be different.